to go into that fight. I think Unconquered Spirit got procced in the first in the Battle of the Shrine itself, so he didn't have it available when they were moving in. And just letting the keep go, because there was one hero was already dead, right? They got the kill, so they could have made the argument, okay guys, we can still peel one hero off, defend the top lane, maybe hold back the Punisher a little bit, don't commit to it completely, because Dignitas was already moving out. Dignitas lost one hero, they had two extremely low, Tacita was about to fall, Meridian was about to fall, so Dignitas had to move back. They said, okay, can't win this one. Hands off, we don't take it. At that moment, if you are Liquid, you can peel a hero to the top lane, just back, and just keep the shrine at 39 minions. You wait for the top lane to be cleaned out so that the keep is not going to fall against Abathur in the camp, and then you go back down. You have very little advantage of actually taking that instantly and then trying to move through. The only reason why they did it is because they basically said, hey, we win this game with the Punisher right now, so our keep at the top lane doesn't matter. But I think if they make a bit more of a patient call here, they can easily retreat again. It would have made it more or less impossible for Dignitas to counter push. And they would also probably have borrowed a little bit more time for cooldowns to come back online, because I think if both teams have all their resources up, Liquid has the better spot.
It certainly boils down to a clash of styles. Abathur is just one of those heroes that we need to late game that you eventually get to a point where you have to decide when you want to move in for the aggression. While I agree with you, you can pull back and maybe buy a little bit more time and find a little bit more patience with that composition and then go for that powerhouse play. I think they just got to the point where like, all right, we're done dealing with Abathur, and they just went for it. And maybe if they didn't lose Arcane in the bottom left, it would have been the right call.
That's the fault. That's the mistake right there. So that's what I'm saying.
I just feel like Abathur forces that mistake to the point where you just feel like you screw up.
But that's the point. He doesn't. Like, he forces you to do something, but in this case, give me a good reason why you can't defend the keep. I can't find one. You can delay the shrine either way, because once you start pushing in, it's a 5 versus 5 anyways. So you don't gain anything by giving the keep up.
They were in a position where they didn't have a lead on the minion, so if they get the keep at the top right corner and they go to defend it, they actually lose out in the shrine because Dignitas moves in and gets a pick.
No. They were way ahead. There are 4 heroes here. Meridian is about to die. Snitch had to already retreat. He had no hit points left. They have to move back. They're already in the base. They can't re-engage. You win the shrine anyways. Dignitas gave it up already. With how well they played the macro game last time, I'm actually disappointed with that decision towards the end.
I don't know. We'll have to see what happens as we continue to go throughout this best-of-5 series, as we go ahead and check out our tweets, as you guys are already talking about this match that continues to be electric between these two teams. Twitter is abuzz as GL Phoenix comes in and says, Team Dignitas versus Team Liquid in a battle of the top of the table. This is going to be good.
Yeah, and it definitely was. It was a great game there. Like, very strategic for long periods of time. Hoof it! Give all my energy to the Team Liquid lads. Let's go.
And he names all the players.
All the names and links to stream. Okay, like that's an info tweet right there.
Looking for that TL.
I was like browsing through. Is there like any other piece of information outside of the player name? I was like, nah.
From Rizzo Tim here, performed very well in the second half of Phase 1, and that has continued into Phase number 2. Now they're up against the big boys, Team Dignitas. Let's see where they stand.
I mean, so far they look good in the game, but I also think the draft favored them heavily. And if you don't win that game, this is one of those in such a close series. This can decide everything. It's back when we had reverse sweeps. When on the third map you make that one mistake. I mean, we saw it from Fnatic yesterday when they overstepped with the first protector towards the top, and then they get cleaned up on the way back, and it brings leftovers back in the game. In hindsight, that would have been a potential 3-0 if they carried that advantage properly. So there's always these things. Okay, where do we go from here? But yeah, Liquid losing out on the first one was a good chance for them to take a bit of a lead in the series, but Dignitas, especially with the macro aspect, bringing that game around and making sure that they take the first one.
Well, I'll tell you where we're going. We're going to game number 2 here. Let's go ahead and check out the battleground and figure out where we are going to be playing on. It's going to be Cursed Hollow. Dignitas with the pick as Team Liquid wants to stay with the first slot in the draft.
Dignitas has... This is actually the first time that Dignitas plays Cursed Hollow. They haven't played it before in Phase 2.
So we'll see how they play it.
And Liquid has only one. I mean, you have to ban Abathur here right away.
100%, yeah.
Still a chance for Vikings, but a small one at that. Vikings is really niche pick. They yesterday showed it. We've seen Vikings now 2-3 times. But it was more so to counter opponents' compositions and to deal with Abathur. So with Abathur very likely being banned here immediately once it starts on probably the second spot, I highly doubt that we're going to see Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy seeing Team Liquid and then playing the Vikings, but I prefer going to game number 2 that we still get that straight-up matchup between these two, because I feel like they were holding their own pretty well against Dignitas. Granted, it's a different type of style that we were seeing on Infernal Shrines, but seeing the 5v5 team fight and not trying to out-macro and stretch your opponent is always fun to watch. So I want to see if that is what we're going to get here from Team Liquid. Now, again, as you mentioned, there is a chance that it might not get banned out, and maybe we do get those Vikings, but the global play is something that I do expect to see here. Both teams have ran false in the patch. Snitch has played it. We've seen it from Arcaner here on this battleground, and then of course Dahaka has always been a big tool here.
Yeah, I personally don't think there's any chance that he doesn't get banned out.
No.
I think that's the first ban, first pick, first ban is not going to ban him out, and that is in this case Team Liquid. So I don't think that Dignitas, there's a world in which Dignitas is going to allow them to have Abathar, because they're going to play it if they get the opportunity. But yeah, macro game is going to be strong here. Big map, you said it, Dahaka, global fall set coming into play here. Zone control is going to become important, of course, too. It's one of the reasons why in the days of old, Tyrael was such a strong pick here because of sanctification, holy ground, trying to dominate shrine battles. So Urel also another, of course, option. I mean, she has been banned by Liquid on the first spot.
Yeah.
It's another ban that we could see. Could see also another Tracer game here, depending on how they shift the bans.
I'm curious if, on a bigger battleground like Cursed Hollow, if Urel is a priority over Dahaka for either of these teams, right? With Dahaka bringing so much prowess to the field, being able to soak up that experience, give you a lead, and decide when you want to move into the tributes. So far, we've seen Urel being prevalent in a lot of battlegrounds, even ones that we see Dahaka there for. But I wonder if it's still enough for Cursed Hollow.
I actually think that for the bosses, Urel gives you a lot of control, and that could tilt in favor of her over Dahaka. You give up a lot of the global ideas, but you could counteract that also with false set in the later stage of the game.
Yeah.
But the boss control that you get if you go into Sacred Ground, just your knockback alone is already giving you a huge opportunity if you are in any kind of boss fight.
Yeah.
That you can try and secure that golem for you and then push through the lane. So I think she's still extremely powerful here, outside of just her being strong, but also featuring towards the battleground.
Now we're having a little bit of technical difficulties as we try to get this match set up. We're going to get it all figured out, so don't worry about it. But we can talk about other heroes that are still strong in this battleground. Hanzo has been a mainstay, being able to bring out that scatter arrow. Greymane's been getting a little bit more love too lately on a mortar race battlegrounds. We haven't seen him much on Cursed Hollow, but you always have that idea of, hey, I can split push with the Greymane and potentially a support to back up if you get into a spot where things aren't working out for you. So that could be a hero that we get pulled up.
Greymane is still total trash here.
He got a couple wins yesterday, though.
Oh yeah, great. And he also got a couple of losses.
Yeah.
He's sitting at 4 wins and 14 losses. Giving the sample size, if we look at heroes and we just take heroes into consideration that have, let's say, above 5 games played, Greymane is by far the worst hero that we currently have. It's actually crazy how much he has fallen. There are composition where he can work. If you go for a blow-up combo and you're trying to stack CC and you blow something apart there, that definitely can work. But there's also so many tools that can really save a target now. I kind of get a bit of a giggle every single time someone tries to blow up a Urel with one of these comms. It works very rarely unless you get...
You need a silence, it feels like.
You get a silence or a stun lock through and you kill her during that. But if that doesn't work out, she is going to survive.
It's kind of similar to Blaze, too. You want to try and land that silence right before he gets the bunker off, but if he gets that bunker off a team fight, usually you waste your entire potential of winning the team fight. It goes down the drain with the bunker coming off, the same as there with Urel. She's able to get her Ardent Defender played out. But yeah, Greymane been having a bit of a rough time. Cursed Bullet composition still pretty okay, though, if you're trying to run them at your own leisure at home in your own teams. Try to play around those cooldowns. That's one of the best part about a Cursed Bullet. You put out so much damage so quickly, and then you can back up a fight, and then re-engage about 40 seconds later. So something to consider whenever you are playing Greymane.
Yeah. Greymane it's tough right now. I mean, outside of the cocktail build that we don't see that much anymore, Infernal Shrines isn't really one of the preferred battlegrounds for him anymore either. I think on Battlefield of Eternity with the Immortal race that you mentioned, he still has quite a lot of uses.
Yeah,
but in most compositions, you are just better off going into a different assassin. I mean, just take Phoenix, for example. He still packs a punch and is able to do a lot of work, but he does it from a safer perspective, and he can also always move out too. And Phoenix has just risen. He has seen a lot of play. He's only at a 45% win rate, but we have him with 17 wins and 21 losses. So highly popular, and especially the top teams love to play with Phoenix.
You got mobility, you got damage, and you got your own form of sustain. Not too bad to have with those shields being available for you.
Genji banned out.
Now, will it be the Abathar from Dignitas? Yeah. Or they risk it for the biscuit? They are not risking any biscuits today. All gravy as Abathar gets banned.
I was actually mostly surprised that they even hesitated. That's just a snap ban on this map, especially against Liquid.
They took a vote. Everyone say aye if you want to be an Abathur. Aye. Any nays? No nays.
So it was a 4-0.
It was 4-0.
Yeah, Obi doesn't talk. All right, how is Liquid going to run this? This is going to be an interesting pick. Tracer, Dehaka, Urel, are you going to go into any of the three? Are you completely shifting it around and going maybe for your tank again? Tanks have been a high priority here in general, but on Cursed Hollow, there's a lot that you have to think about here. Do you want to go on a global strategy? Do you want to actually trying to play a Tracer game? If you want to play Tracer, you could they go for Hanzo, trying to sneak some of these bosses in, control the mercenary camps a bit more. Also a good first pick.
So now I wonder if Dignitas goes into Dog here, or will Wubby stay with his goddess friend, Urel. I feel like it's going to be one of those two no matter what, and then potentially a support. Decker Kane is up and available.
Yeah, Kane, again, super powerful here. And if they don't pick Deckard Kane now, I could see, again, Team Liquid opting for a ban on the second spot against Deckard.
Yeah. Dignitas thinking about it here. There is still Tracer here if you want to try to build into those strategies, and Tassadar. Tracer, Tassadar, and Malfurion can work here, especially if you want to put a 3-man in that bottom lane or on the boss lane.
Yeah, the thing is just, Malfurion is again...
Falling so hard.
Yes, he has fallen hard, but not when Dignitas plays it. Xaylia is still at a 6-0 with the hero, so he is just continuing that Malfurion train. I was just about to say that he is playing Malfurion more so than anything else. Xaylia is very... It's weird, because it would be wrong to call him one-dimensional, but he has a very high priority on certain heroes, and that's also the style that Dignitas loves to play, and that's currently around Deckard Kane, around Malfurion. Those two have by far the most games played. In the two combined, do they have other supports? I mean, they played an Abathur main support right now. We've seen Karazim 3 times. That's the only 3 supports that they played. So they really like to be in that support niche, but it caters very much to the style that they play, and they're incredibly successful with it. There's no need for them to branch out even further.
If it's not broken, why even attempt to fix it?
Yeah.
Go with what works. And Dignitas actually goes with Urel, and they pull Muradin out instead. Don't even pick up a support option, knowing that they can flex into any of the heroes that we just mentioned. They believe that Muradin pretty darn powerful on this map, and JPL has enjoyed Muradin. Him and Bad Benny this season have been playing that character the most so far.
For Liquid, Deckard Kane would be great. You ban out Malfurion, you take Deckard, more or less forces Team Dignitas into Karazim, and now we have Deckard Kane as expected, and they also secure global for themselves. So now we have the Haka on their end. Like the draft that they have already a lot. They got a lot of good picks here early on. Very likely that they're going to target support on the second ban, and the 2 supports that you would think about here are again Karazim and Malfurion.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a question, are we worried about Karazim, Muradin, Urel jumping on a target? Is that an issue for us? Do we allow them to get Malfurion here? Would they still prefer to play even though the hero has fallen when you look at his success rate?
I feel like Muradin and Urel just make Hanzo cry, to be honest. So you need to make sure that any dive that's coming your way,
you say
you're afraid of it, stick it away.
Thing.
This is a bad thing. He might get his bow wet and then it won't work anymore. That's sad.
Again, you make that sound like it's a bad thing.
You're just a hater. You're a hater of Robin Hood, man. All right, Muradin, Urel. We have seen Karazim paired with them in the past, but Team Dignitas thinking about their ban for now. Is there any main tanks that jump out immediately? Diablo seems to be the option. I was thinking maybe Garrosh, as he can be okay against comps that are coming straight towards him, but they decided to go with Diablo instead.
Hanzo has nothing in common with Robin Hood. He can't even hit anything. He needs a scatter shot to actually hit something.
Leader of a gang versus a leader of...
Robin Hood is on point.
Lost people.
He takes from the rich and gives to the poor. Can Hanzo say the same thing? No, he can't.
It's still wrong. Even if you do give it to the nice people, it's still a wrong way of approaching life. You know?
We can argue about that. Like,
I mean,
Robin Hood,
there's discussions back and forth, but it's still stealing, right? On its foundation, you're still taking away from people.
I mean, in the story, the rich steal from the poor, so he just gives it back.
Oh, I see. So it's a tug of war of the items coming back and forth. All right, fair enough. I mean, he looks good in green. That's all that matters, right? If you look good in green, that's life.
That's what matters.
That's your motto.
I heard that Hollywood remade, or is remaking the movie again, and I'm just face palming so hard. And they changed the entire
They've
story
remade it like
this time.
3 times, dude. That and King
More,
Arthur.
like a lot more, believe me. And every single time they remake it again, they screw the story up more. It's really funny. It's like, yeah, but there's not enough explosions. We need more explosions. So now we're setting Robin Hood.
He's got explosive arrows.
Explosive arrows. We're going to get some rocket launchers in the game as well. Bring Michael Bay in so the American flag waves in the background as Robin Hood runs across the screen.
Yes. Let's do that. Men in Tights is still the best Robin Hood movie.
It's actually really funny.
No, it's really good.
But that's the Malfurion band. So it comes back to exactly what we talked earlier when they were picking their Deckard and the Haka rotation. You pick their card away and then you target the supports of Dignitas. You know that they're a little bit small in the pool that they use. Doesn't mean they can't branch out. This would actually be a game where they could show that. But now it's likely that Dignitas goes into Karazim, at least traditionally so far in Phase 2. They've done exactly that. So Liquid is saying, hey, we're completely cool with it. But as long as we are denying Deckard and Malfurion to them, Zelia is not going to have as much of an impact in the game as he usually does. Or at least we can play around it more easily. And there's Rhaegar, going into Rhaegar over Karazim this time. Have they actually played Rhaegar once? No, it's the first time.
Not from them, no. Hammer, Rhaegar, Yrel, and Muradin. Rhaegar naturally fitting into double take setups, and you already have that here with Muradin and Yrel being the bruiser. Well, I guess a triple tank setup. That's Sergeant Hammer as a tank. I don't know if you've noticed, but Twitch chat will point that out every single time Hammer is picked.
Such a fantastic joke.
It's such a hilarious
I've never
joke.
heard that before.
Oh man, it makes me giggle every time.
It's
I've
really-
seen it 5 million times.
It's really creative. It's about as creative as my puns.
Yeah, that's super creative right there.
Yeah.
Well, triple tank with Rhaegar coming out here for Team Dignitas. 4th and 5th pickup. We're going to be needing our main tank and maybe a little bit more damage here for Team Liquid. For main tank options that are available, oof, Garrosh would not work here, so RJ Hammer would be a major pain. Is this in our Nubrak game? Is he too squishy for this?
Think about that
Johanna's
too.
up.
Johanna has also suffered a lot in Phase 2.
Yeah.
She's at 6 and 12 at this point. Could be the pick here though. You have blinds available to you.
Oh, there she
And
is.
It is. Johanna for the blinds, also for the engage here, and Thrall. I like the Thrall pick. This is a great game where you can also play around Sundering if you really want to force the engage. When you have both of the options, you can really play around Earthquake again, but if you really feel that you need another tool to just flank in, engage with the Sundering and open the fight up like it, then you can go into that too. Very melee heavy again.
Yeah.
Creating the space for Hanzo and also making it a bit harder for Muradin to jump in later on. Needs to have his escape tool ready, especially when the CC is stacked against him or Yrel. And this is also another good example where Yrel needs to be careful that the isolation of the Haka doesn't really hit at the appropriate moment in time where she might actually fall.
Is this a false stand?
It could very well be. You mirror the global, you have disengage.
Medivh.
Ooh.
A rare one for Snitch, but when he pulls it out, he definitely plays it. I know that statement made no sense, but there it is.
Yrel definitely just became unkillable.
Yeah. Ardent Defender, Force of Will.
Yeah! What is
Yeah.
it with you and that German attempted accent these days?
Been learning that German, man, you know? Just life. Now I speak it. Fluent.
On the way to the studio, every now and then he busts out the weirdest German accent all of a sudden. His attempt to mirror
You
that.
can't tell people that's a private conversation thing. People think that I'm making fun of Germans or something. I'm not. I just like to make him laugh.
He's making fun of me all the time.
I'm so
Actually,
sorry.
These days, it's really tough for me to get into a good mood before we start our broadcast because he's just picking on me all the time.
2018 Trickster, I'm a
Makes
bully.
Makes it hard for me.
I can't take you seriously. Shut up. I will be mean to you on broadcast. Because this guy.
To be honest,
This is what he's learned when he's come to America. He's learned the art form of puppy eyes. He's never had it before, but now he gets to a point where he acts like he can be a victim. You're not a victim. Stop it. We're going to game number 2 here as we set up for Cursed Hollow. Let's check it out as Sergeant Hammer Medivh composition versus Hanzo and Thrall.
To the left with the lead, we have Team Dignitas with a snitch on Medivh, a Poik. For him, it's hammer time. He's ready to roll out. JPL, he's also hammering around with Muradin. Zelia on Rhaegar, and we have Wooby on Yrel.
On the right side, in the red, Nurak on Deckard, Hasuavs on Thrall, Ethernal on Dahaka, Sport Billy on Johanna, Arcaner on Hanzo.
Time to shine. Liquid was not able to secure the victory in game number 1 on Infernal Shrines. They had a solid comp set up for it, but Dignitas proved to be too strong in the late game and made the better decisions. Now it's time to show that you can bring the fight to the number 1 in the standings. Team Dignitas, they lost a single map in Phase 2 of 2018, and thus far, Team Liquid is here to change that. But Dignitas, of course, they want to hold on to their track record.
The 3-man boss lane, a common strategy that you will see often on Cursed Hollow. If you feel like you have a strong auto-attack composition and you have enough protection, which Rhaegar and Medivh will provide here for Sergeant Hammer, put 3 in the lane that you have a boss in. You'll be able to break down the turrets, work on a well, and potentially even get a fort if your opponent is not able to respawn. And that's what Dignitas is doing now. Turrets being cleared up quickly, and you see how fast she can just siege that puppy down.
Yeah, and now of course there has to be some kind of response, and that is as Sport Billy comes in. Really nice move, controlling the portal for a long time here too, but not able to completely deny access to Poik. So Hammer is able to move away. But it shows already some of the aggression that we can see from Team Liquid against the Hammer position, even with Medivh in there. The problem, of course, still remains that with the level 4 on Hammer, with the shields and the portals on Medivh's side, there is just so much that Dignitas can use to keep Poik alive. And that only is, that's only underlined by the ability of Girel to create space and murder with the Stormbolts.
Now, typically when you do a 3-man, what are you going to give away, though? You give away the possibility of you peeling people off to work on Giants, getting night camps, so you want to be able to get that experience that your opponent might be able to get through mercenaries that will be pushing through this lane that we're trying to push through. And you see that happening already. Team Dignitas is breaking in on this turret. In the past, the strategy was a little bit more prevalent because you had more experience in those turrets, so they'll be looking to get a fort soon. But Team Liquid doing their best here to slow this down as Arcaner rotates from the Giants to fight, actually.
I've watched 2 minutes of this game, and I think Team Liquid is screwed. How do you deal with this? Because right now, there is... I mean, every single time a Scroll of Sealing comes out, Hammer just doesn't care at all. There's a quick shield for Medivh, and if really something happens and Poik's like, guys, I think I might be in trouble here, there's a portal out. So that pressure is just going to continue. Liquid needs to play insanely well to break through that, I feel. Like, early on, they need to make sure that Dignitas doesn't get us a massive lead, and there's a very good chance that Dignitas is able to put exactly that off.
They're going for a 4-man evade here. Wubby actually already here, 2 rotating from the top lane. We have 5-on-5 action here in the bottom left on the night camp. Wubby trying to control it, gets the knockback. Sport Billy able to step up and try to grab it, but Arcaner is having a tough time in the back right due to JPL.
Yeah, Goat Girl again making sure that she is just controlling everything here. Portals all the way. They go for Billy. Johanna, low Iron Skin pop, will be creating space in the back line, and Billy is in a corner. That's a cul-de-sac right there.
Oof. A night camp, a kill. Yahtzee for Team Dignitas as they set up for it. Also a push in the middle lane. Gonna start setting up with the hammer, and I use Yahtzee as a positive. Are you proud, Kaldor?
I know. I heard the Yahtzee was just like, oh my god, he's screwing it up again, but you were actually correct. For Dignitas, it was a positive, yes.
Dignitas, they are going to love that play for themselves. Getting a night camp to push in the middle lane, grabbing a tribute as well. The rotation from them really benefiting Team Liquid. Now a full level behind.
That Medivh pick totally screwed Team Liquid.
Yeah.
Dignitas, with that last pick, made such a fantastic choice, and it really puts the emphasis now on Poik, who can just snowball this game, and that's what they're going to try and do. They already have a bit of a lead. They're going through the structures here. For Team Liquid, it's actually a saving grace that the tower experience was redistributed, because if that didn't happen, they would be so far behind already.
Yeah, you would see Team Dignitas probably around 7.5 right now, already having that talent lead. They are grabbing their Giants, will have that pushing up. Team Liquid will be working on the bottom lane, and they will have Dahaka, who potentially could rotate down there if they wanted to. However, he's still staying in the top lane. Team Dignitas already setting up for a second tribute, while JPL does his best to slow down the opposing tank.
Team Liquid, by the way, is 5-0 with Deckard Cain. So far, Nurok has not lost a single game with the old man. Dignitas is going to try and change that in this match now, but the rotations are happening. Nice Siege Camp at the bot lane, really good, because there's no one to deal with it at this point, so we should see a lot of value for it if Liquid can stall this out. And actually, to stall out a tribute, Liquid has a lot of tools in their quiver. They have the flashlight of Johanna, they have also next to the shield blade and the scatter arrows of Hanzo, so there's a lot of tools that they can use, and eventually that should force Dignitas down.
Are you already thinking about that? Heading down. Sergeant Hammer will do her best to get some damage as they set up. Rhaegar hasn't revealed that he is left yet. So Team Liquid hasn't fully engaged, but they will the moment they see Rhaegar on the bottom. There it is. Sport Billy goes in for the condemn, and we'll have our poke. Now there is escape available for Team Dignitas. They're just trying to buy time.
Exactly, and they have the tools to buy that time, so Rega can rotate back up top. And even if Dignitas has to give this one up, I think that's still not the end of it. But Liquid, yeah, they're about to take that, maybe. JPL comes in, once the Stormbolt doesn't find it, Tribute is being picked up, but Murden can of course move out. But that's a win for Liquid getting this one. And Liquid is doing impressively well considering how difficult it is for them to reach Sergeant Hammer at any of these spots.
I'm trying to snipe a boss here, but here's one of the things that Medivh does if you want to be able to make sure that Hanzo is not able to use that scatter arrow build. Just sit on his face the entire time. Fly around constantly. You don't have to finish out those stacks. Just keep an eye on where Hanzo's at. Babysit that bow and arrow dude. And Team Dignitas is pulling that off right now.
Cooldown reduction on 7 coming in for Whoopi, not going into the Divine Steed. Leaving that for now. Ancestral Wraith is in. The more I look at this, like, what do you want here? Do you want Earthquake or do you want Sundering? I actually think that Sundering is a really good option for them if they want to go for that hard engage against Sergeant Hammer.
I enjoyed it against Portals, but the thing about it is it's all in, right? You pick a Sundering, okay, we need to get a kill whenever you go for it.
The problem is just is that you can dodge the Earthquake also with a really good portal if you set that up. And I think if Sundering is being used, you can follow it up with Hanzo's arrow and also the Blessed Shield.
Yep.
So if all of that hits, you should be able to get one of these kills. It's a great chain to use, and you can even set it off around Deck Arcane.
Helpful against Rhaegar too if you can land on him in particular. All right, we'll see if Team Liquid will go towards that route. They may try to just go ahead and poke like crazy. With the scatter ability, still enjoy having that slower movement speed on your opponents, but as you mentioned, the portal makes it easier for Dignitas to walk away from it.
Dignitas has that 10, and Liquid is half a level away, so they should be giving this one up. Billy actually rushing away there and barely gets out. He should survive, but that was a close call. It's not enough to really shut him down, but for a second I really thought that Billy overstepped maybe too much. Loses half his HP. Nice interrupt against Zelia. 10 is nearly there for Liquid. They actually are able to make this work for now. They can fight for the tribute. Impressive by Liquid. Nice stall.
Tiger King, man. So frustrating with
Earthquake.
help of Hanzo too. Earthquake has been picked.
Johanna's solo.
Bruise though, and here comes the Haka from the top left. Arrow actually hits on 3. Big arrow there from Arcaner.
And now just imagine what they could have done with Oh, the isolation misses. Here comes the immediate move by Rega as they go in with a Bloodlust. They kill against Thrall, and they're also getting the second kill against Nurok. Double kill secured, and Team Dignitas with the Bloodlust setup here making the plays.
They made it look easy. Arrow came in, the Leyline Seal immediately afterwards, and they just turn it around and get the picks. Murden jumping over the wall.
Also, Johanna never used the Blessed Shield in the setup. The Leyline Seal just ruined a lot of these plays, but I think if you can really stack the CCs and you get the Blessed Shield in after the triple arrow, then you can get a lot out of this. But Dignitas is definitely in a position where they are just incredibly powerful now with those hammer plays. They take boss at the bot lane, up here to the top. There's a huge delay tactic from Dignitas, but I think Liquid with Hanzo should be able to secure that in time.
Yeah, they were trying to put a little bit of pressure there on top of Arcaner so he can get the auto attack to proc his level 7 talent. But eventually Team Liquid gets the boss. So that'll be pushing in the top lane. But Team Dignitas is the south. Already having Sergeant Hammer actually by her lonesome, aiding the push.
As long as they have vision at the top lane, it's not an issue. And there's also Medivh that's floating around, so he can always help out Hammer when need be. This just feels that Team Liquid is just barely holding on the entire time. It's always close. Dignitas is about to get that tribute. Liquid somehow manages to interrupt until 10, tries to force in. Boss is taken. Wow. Oh my god, and they get the kill against Hanzo. Going for the cross-map kill here as Snitch and JBL are already contesting the Siege Giant camp. And now you have to deal with a boss with Siege Giants and a sieged up Sergeant Hammer at that bottom of the map.
That's tilt-inducing. Trying to grab your Giants for defense, and suddenly a BFG flies across the map and finishes off. Seemed like Team Dignitas already had that pick already, but oof. Hanzo will be up a couple of seconds, and that will help out with this boss, which is down to at least underneath half health.
There's a curse also available now at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Aslobs is trying to prevent that from happening, but he's now being pushed too. Whoopi is getting that cooldown reduction. Hidden just keeps hopping, using his trait as well. So they are going to get that curse. 13 now versus 12, level ahead. Lot of damage at the bot lane. Lane is pushed out, so someone needs to stay there and defend it now once the curse is activated. Dignitas in a fantastic spot here, and Team Liquid is desperately trying to find some kind of avenue back into this game. Haven't found a kill yet. Looking at 0 kills against 4. will be delaying that curse even more the entire time because they are trying to prep the mercenary camps.
Yep, both Giants and Night Camp.
So what Whoopi basically does, he channels the tribute and cancels it every single time just before it ends, while Medivh scouts and the two like Rega and Hammer, they are basically taking the mercenary camps, and once those are done, then you let the channel through. And they could do that because they had the vision through Medivh and had vision on the map on the defense at the bot lane, so there was just no risk.
Team Dignitas is going to jump out with so much experience here. Yrel soaked the top lane, cleared that out. The Giants will be able to work on that fort. Team Dignitas can get aggressive in the middle lane. They already do so. JPL jumps over. Here comes the BFG. It connects with Hostile Ops. Goes down to a quarter health, so he gets healed up. Thurnal brush sucks into the middle lane, realizing they need to help out with this fight. That means the top and bottom push without anyone stopping. Yeah,
bottom keep is going to get damaged, so the Team Liquid is rotating someone down, but it also means that the Siege Giants at the top lane are completely uncontested. 2-level lead already for Team Dignitas. The Haka moves down to make sure that the keep at least doesn't fall, but Dignitas is now working their way through the mid lane. Dominant performance here so far. The curse for another 15 seconds. Things are looking grim for Team Liquid.
Team Liquid trying to get 13, and that might be the indicator for them to just go for a full and aggressive play and try and stop Team Dignitas. The curse is about to end in 3 seconds. This keep gets bruised down to about half HP. Johanna steps up, drops a condemn. No follow-up though, as Hanzo decides not to go for the engage. They have to deal with the Night Camp in the middle lane, so he starts working on that.
Yeah, so he can go edge forward and get a bit more damage in. 13 talents on both sides, but we soon are going to see level 16 talents for Dignitas, so another lead for them. Johanna moves in, but still the ability of Hoik to just siege away against that keep here. The Haka had to move to the top to take down the Siege Giant camp. Dignitas is waiting for these waves now, trying to get the next talent, and once they have 16, they can make that engage. Arrow comes in, a nice chain set up here. Medivh with a portal, bloodlust being used as they're trying to disengage thanks to the move speed advantage, and Team Liquid with the isolation now. They get the Dragon's Mirrodin, but the ley line comes out and saves JPL for another moment. But can he really survive there? Stay a while and listen, keep it in place a bit longer. Poik with a knockback, and Mirrodin walks away.
Mirrodin able to walk away, and Wubby's thinking about going in for a fight, already having the Avenging Wrath ready to go. 16 around the corner here for Team Dignitas, but they decide to fully back away. I am so surprised that Mirrodin was able to sustain through that. Barely getting in with the heals coming in.
Liquid really wanted him. I mean, the speed advantage through Bloodlust helped him. Then, of course, the ley line steal was absolutely fantastic. That came at the right moment in time. Isolation did connect. So did the taunt. So he was really in a lot of trouble. Got dragged in 3. And then the ley line comes in and saves him there. Now 16 is nearly ready for Dignitas, and if they invade now the Siege Giant camp down here and take it, then they can easily go for that first keep in the game. And let's not forget, they also took down the keep in the mid lane to, I mean, maybe 30% health. So they are looking at a fantastic position in this game. 2 levels ahead. Here comes the arrow again, though, and this might be a kill. Nope, just kidding. Medivh is ready.
Medivh with the Force of Will. BFG connects for 3. Arcaner gets knocked into the wall. Sergeant Hammer focuses him down. Hanzo has been cleaned up, and JPL and Yrel simultaneously jump together to the backline, and Nurok, he's in a corner. The old man's all by himself. Listen to my story. No, shut up, as they get the kill and turn around and look at the keep.
Yeah, they're just done with story time. They're like, dude, it's time for action, not time for listening and talking here. So they go in, take the keep down, and they can at least take the second keep, if not the game. Death timers are low though, so they go into the middle, drop the second keep, and it's all the way to Happyville now for Dignitas, as they are taking such a fantastic lead, and all they need now is a boss at the bot lane to end this.
Giants grabbed in the bottom lane too. A second tribute for grabbing. Thrall might be able to sneak it here. Looks like he gets it.
They're going to make a boss play now.
Yeah, they're already on their way.
You have ley line ready. And Liquid, I'm actually surprised that Liquid doesn't call it. They're rotating a bit late here to it. Don't get me wrong, it's a horrible fight for Liquid to take, but I think you have to. 14 minutes in, yes, the boss is not quite a monster yet, but it's getting close. And with Hammer in play, and the rest, Bloodlust in particular, this should be game.
Here it is.
Dignitas should be able to make this work.
Daga's frantically trying to get 16, but Dignitas doesn't get a chance to go in. Johanna drops a condemn, Iron Skin as well. Arrows poking from the side. Here's the Haka. They go straight for Sergeant Hammer, but the self-cleanse will be enough. Yrel, the only one to be caught, but stay a while in the city.
Yeah, and you can't take Whoopi down. 4-man ley line. Earthquake comes out. Here's the Bloodlust. They're going in. The boss still on the way to the core, of course, as all of this happens. Eternal popping astray, trying to stay alive. Whoopi jumping on top of him here. And down goes the Haka. The dinosaur gets extinct again as Johanna falls. And Arcana is also barely escaping. Nope, he's not. He goes down. It's taken apart by Rega. It's a 4-man as we see Thrall fall. The boss is at the core. Liquid didn't even hit 16 in all of this. And Team Dignitas is on their way to victory.
And they'll jump right on that core. They'll claw it down, provide siege damage. The boss helping out too, as Team Dignitas will go up in this series against Team Liquid 2-0.
The Medivh pick for Snitch was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It really was made that comp towards the end there. Made it impossible for Liquid to kill anything. It was 10 kills against 0. And Liquid tried. They had engage tools. But at no point in the game could they really threaten Poik on Hammer. And he was just going bananas on them. It was very well executed here by Team Dignitas. Great composition for them.
I really feel like that early game fight just did not pan out the way Team Liquid was really hoping for. They moved in for the night camp, and Dignitas was just ready to go. With them being able to put the portal down and get Urel into the middle of that fight and then also find a kill, it just felt like they just had that upper hand the entire duration of the game.
Yep, it was extremely well done, and the 2-0 leader, of course, now a fantastic spot for Dignitas to maybe even close out another series without dropping a map. Again, they only lost 1 map in Phase 2 thus far. We're going to find out soon enough if they can keep that track record, and so far it looks good.
Yeah, certainly looking good. I mean, don't forget, Team Liquid's been undefeated so far, so there's still a chance for them to maybe pull off a reverse sweep. We've seen some already this weekend. Be fun to see that here against Team Dignitas, but Team Liquid, they're going to have to dig deep here and make sure that they're prepared and ready to go when we head into that game number 3.
Yep, definitely. So both of the teams with a 4-0 track record, but that's going to change soon. And Liquid will have, as he said, to dig deep to make sure that they can turn this somehow around. They have a bit of a break now, so they can actually think, okay, what's the strategy, how we approach this? But this is really where that loss on the first map, again, can come back to bite you. From here on out, you have to win every single map, and there's still some strong maps left for Dignitas. I could see Liquid bringing them to Volskaya, but that's a map where Dignitas also excels. But Liquid might just say, you know what, we know you're strong here, but we're just better.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Team Liquid will take this break to wash their hands of Game 1 and Game number 2. We'll be right back with Game number 3. This is the HGC.